a missing teenager in Tennessee, and investigators digging through a landfill more than 100 miles away in Kentucky. This is Case and Cues with Carrie. In the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, one of the earliest investigative steps took detectives from Hendersonville, Tennessee to the Hopkins County Regional Landfill in White Plains, Kentucky. Understanding why investigators made that decision requires looking closely at Timeline's trash collection and the legal process required to search property that has no direct connection to the people involved in the case. Sebastian Rogers was 15 years old when he was reported missing on February 26, 2024. He was last believed to be at home the night before. When his mother went to wake him the following morning, his bedroom was empty. Authorities later stated Sebastian appeared to have left without several items most people typically take when leaving the house, including his phone. An Amber Alert was issued later that day as law enforcement began searching for the missing teenager. By the time investigators were fully mobilizing the search, they determined that trash from the neighborhood had already been collected and transported away from the area. Household waste from that route was taken to the Hopkins County Regional Landfill in White Plains, Kentucky, a facility that receives garbage transported from parts of Tennessee. Once waste arrives at a landfill, it is compacted, layered, and covered by additional loads. Within a short period of time, recovering specific items becomes extremely difficult. Investigators organized a search operation at the landfill soon after Sebastian was reported missing. Multiple agencies participated, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, emergency management personnel, search and rescue teams, and Kentucky law enforcement. Heavy equipment and trained search teams worked within a specific section of the landfill rather than searching the entire site. Modern landfill facilities maintain detailed load records and grid systems that track where garbage from particular trucks and routes is deposited. Using those records, investigators can determine where waste from a specific neighborhood on a specific day was placed. This allowed search teams to focus on the section corresponding to the trash collection route from Sebastian's neighborhood. Even with those records, landfill searches are extremely difficult. Once waste is compacted and layered, investigators may only have a narrow window of time before the material becomes nearly impossible to examine. Because the landfill is privately operated property located in another state, investigators needed legal authorization before conducting the search. In situations like this, law enforcement typically obtains a search warrant from a judge in the jurisdiction where the search will take place. Under the Fourth Amendment, investigators must establish probable cause before a judge will approve a warrant. Probable cause does not require certainty that evidence will be found. Instead, investigators must present facts showing a reasonable basis to believe evidence related to an investigation may be located in the place they want to search. Courts evaluate probable cause using the totality of the circumstances standard described in Illinois v. Gates. In a situation involving a landfill search, investigators may rely on factors such as the timeline of the disappearance, the fact that household trash had already been removed, the known destination of that trash, and the possibility that items connected to the investigation could have entered the waste stream. Taken together, those circumstances can sometimes meet the legal threshold required for a judge to authorize the search. The affidavit explaining investigators' reasoning has not been publicly released. Law enforcement later stated that the landfill search did not uncover evidence connected to Sebastian's disappearance. Officials described the operation as an investigative step taken to ensure no potential avenue was overlooked during the early stages of the case. Landfill searches are uncommon in missing person investigations because they require significant resources, legal authorization, and coordination between agencies. When investigators believe evidence could potentially have been discarded and transported away in household trash, acting quickly may be the only opportunity to examine that possibility before the landfill area becomes impossible to isolate. More than 2 years later, Sebastian Rogers has not been located and no arrests have been made. Investigators have continued to examine digital evidence, surveillance footage, and other leads while the case remains open. Many investigative details have not been publicly released, and the records supporting the early search warrant remain sealed. That's a closer look at the Kentucky landfill search connected to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. If you've been following this case, I'd be interested to hear your perspective on that investigative step. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.